inspiration, we the underground. We paved the way for the famous, yeah, the underground. The pioneers remain nameless here in the underground. The majors and the players who get praise and say they made it and got stayed in good and polished like a diamond in the underground. When they lose touch with their roots and need another sound, the industry climbs down into the underground. We be the mom and pops, they the incorporated. They love and we're unknown, hated amongst our own.
Welcome to What's HiddenTV. I'm your host, Nikki Blaze, and all underground, independent, everything is what we cover. From writers to authors to playwrights to actors to psychologists to music people, our engineers, our singers, our rappers. Everything underground and independent is what we've been covering for the past 8 years. Again, I'm your host, Nikki Blaze. Today, we are recapping our retreat that we were able to experience with One Trip Over the Moon. Lakeeya and her husband, Walter Homsey, they had the most amazing retreat that I was not only able to document, but I was able to actually experience. How many people can actually say that that's behind the camera and actually can experience the retreat? So, some of the things that of the retreat that we were able to experience was letting go and letting be with Lakeeya herself. And then we did a art over anxiety with her husband, Mr. Walter. We also did some intro to belly dancing with Zahara. And we also were able to do some yoga and speak with some of the vendors and also some of the instructors. So we have that highlighted on our show that you guys were able to see last month. Now, this month, you're able to sit down and talk with Miss Lakeeya and Mr. Walter themselves. After we check out this independent artist, they will be right here via Zoom to recap the One Trip Over the Moon, 1 day retreat, relax, reset, refocus. This is what the retreat was about. And honey, let me tell you, I done been to a lot of retreats. This one actually gave you what they promised to give you. We're going to speak with them about their mission, their inspirations, their business, and everything they have to do with this One Trip Over the Moon organization, which is theirs. So we're going to talk about it right here live on What's HiddenTV. You know how we do. We're going to get up close and personal. I'm your host, Nikki Blaze. Check out this independent artist. We'll be right back. Right here. I'm on a hot pursuit. Grab the bag with the loot. Can't tell the fake from true. It's time to blow the hoop. Do what the elders do. With nothing left to prove. It's time to learn the rules. I'm on a hot pursuit. I'm on a hot pursuit. Grab the bag with the loot. Can't tell the fake from true. It's time to blow the hoop. Do what the elders do. With nothing left to prove. It's time to learn the rules. I'm on a hot pursuit. It's time to blow the coop. Grab the bag with the loot. My money very rude. Changed up on launch. All right, y'all, welcome back. As I promised, I have Miss Lakeeya and Walter right here from One Trip Over the Moon, the retreat that I was telling you guys about in part 1. So part 2, I have them here. They're going to break it down. They're going to discuss it. They're going to tell us what it was all about, okay? Because there was some stuff I wasn't able to show you. But those things were one of the most inspirational and intricate things that probably needed to kind of be documented, but because of privacy, we did not document it, but you may see it sometime in the future. Let me introduce the power couple. Welcome, welcome, welcome to What's HiddenTV. Oh my God.
Hello. Thank you. We are so honored to be on your platform. I mean, it was amazing just to meet you. And we're so grateful to be here just chitty-chatting with you today.
Yes, very.
Yes. We did bring our tea.
Oh, I did as well.
Yes.
Relax, okay?
Yes.
Let's all relax, because let me tell you, they rested me, they reset me, and I recovered for some things that I didn't even know I needed recovering from. Okay, so let's get into that. First and foremost, what was the inspiration behind the wife and husband combining all of what you had to offer in creating the One Trip Over the Moon organization?
Do you want to start?
Well, yeah, sure. I think I think the we have worked together in the past. Lakeeya was my supervisor at a previous job where we were doing social work. And when we got together and realized that we were a real couple and had, we recognized how much we have to offer each other. And so I think that was sort of a big part of the impetus, was sort of this realization that what we bring to each other is something that we could share with other people too. And so this idea that you can heal through connection, you can heal through love, through caring, through intentional acts of for yourself and for others. And we get along very well, and we work well together. So I mean, that's sort of we've faced certain stressors as a couple, and we came through them stronger. And so we felt like this is a stress that we can withstand and perhaps grow from, and which we did. And so that was sort of a little bit of a roundabout, rambling way of saying, how we, at least in my mind, how this sort of came together.
Yes, I think for us, the timing is everything, and I'm sure and just in art and music and acting and performance, everything that you do, it's a timing. Like, you can have a product, but the audience is not ready yet. So what I recognized, and then we both quickly recognized, is that COVID wound up being our incubator system. Like, we literally, our relationship started blooming right before COVID was announced to be in United States. It was already here, but early March. And then from there, we recognized in isolation how so many systems really, faltered. We seen everything live in real time, what was wrong. It was already wrong, the systems and, in the society in which we live in, but it became more exposed in a way that we felt like we needed something to combat that. And we recognized organically it happened within our relationship. Like, we're going through these same trauma that the whole world is, but we're impacted by it much differently because of our ability to be intentional about growing our relationship in this silo, really. So when things start to open back up, we were like, how can we connect this to more people, but also not having more clients? Because we're both individual therapists. So we're going to be honest with this. We were burnt out.
Still are.
To doing like that direct care. And everyone was like now flocking to the mental health system because of COVID, and everybody realized, we got too much time to think. We got too much time to feel.
Problems I need to,
we can't go to the bar. We can't go to the club. We can't go to parties. We can't do all those things that normally, mask our feelings. Yes. So we found exploration in nature, and we were just hiking and walking and just experiencing life. Slow down.
Yes, and I think it's one of the things that became most stark and most clear during this time of COVID is that there is no real support for us. We have to, and as limited as our resources are, we have to kind of create it for ourselves, at least to be able to make sense of this world and to find some sense of safety and connection and meaning and all that stuff, because the government had basically abandoned us and told us we were on our own, and okay, we'll get you a vaccine, but that's still in a capitalist structure and everything. So everything that the problems of this system, the inherent cruelty and baseness of the system that we find ourselves in, just became that much more amplified, that much more harder to hide from. and clearly the disparity in wealth and everything that grew in that time has made everybody sort of feel crazy and powerless.
Yeah.
And so
we can either succumb to that process, or we can buck the system by the little power that we do have.
Yes.
Recognizing our power comes by collecting together. All of us, we different backgrounds, different colors, different jobs, all came in a space together and said we all got things to heal from. And that's really what that we can do this. We can do this as a business. We can do this just as a community outlet for people. And then we fell in love with Ashlyn, and it just
and actually fell in love.
And it actually fell in love with us. And for your watchers, I'm talking about Ashland Nature Center. That's where we hosted the retreat.
Hands down.
Yes.
That was an amazing pick.
Amazing space.
It had places, hidden places. It was just trails that take
you went on the nature walk?
Afterwards, I went and I put the camera up. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't take you with me for that one. This was one of them things you had to be there to experience.
Yes.
But yes, I traveled a trail. I was like, let me take me a little walk. Honey, beautiful. I mean, they had every bird you can imagine, every color. From hawks, I seen a snake. I ran from something that was in the grass. I was like, okay, I got my heart pumping. It was the land itself. The nature that surrounded the healing.
Sacred and healing. And the land, once we got there, it kind of spoke to us what should be there. Like, we didn't have to like come up with something. It's like, as soon as we seen it, I was like, oh, this can come here. And I didn't know the people. Everything just flowed. I'm like reaching out to this person. And then just like people like, oh yeah, I'll partner with you in this. I love this idea, because everyone was craving connection after COVID. So it was like, it was that time for us. So either it's all or nothing, it's now or never. We have to do it, and we have to kind of swallow our fears in the process and say like, are we going to do this together? Because every husband and wife should not work together. We said this in another interview. Like, you have to be complementary in a lot of ways, but you also have to be different in a lot of ways, so we're not, overstepping on each other. And like, no, we're both co-leaders. We're not one is head or another in our personal life, but also in this business. We don't do that kind of leadership subservient thing, even though I'm very a submissive wife, because he's an easy, gentle leader, if that makes sense.
Yes. It's very easy to be like, oh, you got this, okay, all right. But you try to keep that 50-50, like, okay, I'm doing my part too, but you got this, honey. So I see you got this. So yes, I do understand that. I do pull all the family into work, so every now and then, but I put them in their positions. Like, I know that my husband is all technical, so if I need a projector head up, or I need some new audio or new drives, I knew who to go get. Kids, you're learning everything. You have you're just here. Paperwork. You got a whole life going on. So yes, I definitely understand that. Now tell me, what was the mission? Now we already know, because COVID had you thinking. Y'all went through some things, and you was like, we can help people with this. But the mission behind One Trip Over the Moon's one-day retreat. Tell us about that.
You said it in the beginning. It was rest, reset, and recovery. I was like, look at her. You could be our spokesperson. Really, because when we're thinking about our target audience are like working professionals, people who are movers and shakers in the community, people who are organizing things, people who are dreaming and doing things that they never seen previous generations done in their family and their life. And we wanted to focus on those people getting what they need. Because we can't, or we don't want to anymore, let's say that, work with people one-on-one. It would take so long to get our message across individual. We said, how can we group people together? So we thought the first thing is, let's help the helpers. So the mission was to help people that often pour into people. So caregivers, other clinicians, other business leaders, other nonprofit leaders, and say, hey, for a day, let's just rest and receive what's for us, because we do so much for so many people. And by refueling ourselves, we have more to do in the community and we have more energy to do that.
Yeah.
So I recognize that we are still doing individual work, because if we pour into these leaders in so many different avenues and spaces, I mean, we had people that worked in corporate America, we had people who had nonprofits, people who had private practice, people who had their own film production.
Yes,
You
it
know,
was a beautiful
we
way
had
of
so many people, and then they all go back with a new, refreshed energy to be able to pour more into those systems. So now we, as One Trip Over the Moon, impacted more people.
yes.
So resting, resetting our minds and what we want to focus on, was create, and then the whole process of recovering. We all have something to heal from, if it's just COVID. But many know life went on even with COVID going on. So we still got highs and lows and stressors and deaths and griefs and losses and job issues and finances, raising kids and so much other stuff in the midst of dealing with a global crisis. And we all need to like be able to recover from that.
Yes, and it was. Totally believe one day was just not enough. Like I needed to like have dinner, like maybe a dance party, go to bed, wake up, and like do the rest of the stuff that I wasn't able to do the day before, because the lineup was spectacular. I was only able to do maybe 3 things, but I feel like you specifically like targeted different things with your sessions, and like you intentionally placed those people there. So tell me about the lineup.
Well, to sort of speak to the underlying ethos, or sort of what we were trying to do, with the people that because you can speak more to the lineup than I can, but what healing comes about from, I think a lot of it comes through, especially from trauma, touch, movement, being able to be still in a moment, and being able to do that collectively is important to all of that. So that was sort of some of the underlying ideas behind, why the approach that we took, the approach that we did, in terms of yoga and massage and all these other things, people to be able to reconnect with their selves. There's a certain schism that takes place when people are really struggling with trauma, and we're all in this collective trauma, and to bring the sort of the mind and the body back together, I think as a unified whole is and sort of allow people to have the option of figuring out, okay, what practice works for me, so we sort of wanted to give this ways that people could explore healing through dance, through art, through through meditation, through music, and interacting with their inner selves, especially in your class, and so these and and one of the other things that we were trying to do was to sort of see if we could do this. This was our first one. And it was sort of, how is this going to work? And it was touch and go there for a little bit. We weren't sure if we were going to have enough people, and we weren't terribly aggressive or particularly comfortable with marketing in the way that we probably should have been. So, but it did work out the way it needed to in that moment. So.
Yes, Nancy, as a person that was participating, I wouldn't even have known that stress.
No. There was lots of background stuff.
This was such an amazing event. I mean, from the spread of the food to the ambiance of just the whole, even if you was running around, because I seen her running around my mama, so I always see running mamas. I know when a mama's like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. But by the middle of the day, I believe like the first sessions that you guys laid out for everybody were more of those, okay, let's get the heavy.
Yeah.
So let me talk about to Ms. Lakeeya. All right. So let's break down your session, which we did not record because it was one of those, let's take care of the heavies first.
Yes, let's do the heavies.
Let's talk about that technique. Like what was your class about? Let's talk about your class.
Okay. My class was letting go. And this will be a repeat workshop that we will add in our future retreat. It was something that I have done before on an individual level with clients one-on-one. So it was like, okay, how can I expand it out? So for me to get the heavy first, it's like we all come into every room with our stuff. And because we're bosses, movers, shakers, leaders, mommies, dads, whatever, we often can't unload our stuff into like the end of our day. Like, ugh, now we unload. So I was like, what it would feel like to unload first and then have lightness and joy for the rest of your day and really just relax and not carry that up and down the stairs, up and down the trails, up and down the paint strokes, you know? So letting go was like letting go and detaching from anything that's holding you back. So sometimes it was like a grief or a loss. Sometimes it was just negative thoughts we have about ourselves. Sometimes it was like previous trauma experiences that really shaped how we now view our present self and limits our future self. So we can't even think about those things.
Describe the activity.
So the activity itself is like we have a coffin. I know people was like freaked out about the little black coffins. So we had the coffin. You said I wasn't. Yes, because you just did a horror film.
Yes, what we putting in it? I want to know what we can kill. What we doing?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had a whole nother like mental going on.
Yes.
So, yeah.
He's like, that was just up her alley. So we wrote on a paper the things that we needed to let go of on the paper. So some people like connected it to their pain of losing someone and how could they move forward, the guilt of moving forward. And some people put their actual traumas. And some people wrote the thoughts. It was really nice to see like the spread of different people's responses. So then we had opportunity to share those things, and then we're gonna bury those things. Those things no longer have a hold on us. So we put our papers inside the coffin, and then I changed the dynamic from this is now not a coffin to this is now a seed. Because anything that we bury will then also grow something. So what do we want it to grow? And we wrote on the outside of the coffin all the things we want this now seed to produce in our life. So people put peace and joy and love and reconnection and happiness and rest. It was all kinds of beautiful things. So we did this in a very quaint space, very dark lit for a reason, had the nice music. And then we left that grief room and we left our burial clothes there. And we came out with our seeds of new purpose. And we went out in this big old bluff space where we could see the birds chirping and dancing before us. And we recognized that it's so much more after death of anything. We can grieve those things, but we don't have to stay there. And I thought that like putting the both together, that dark space and staying there and not dismissing it, because oftentimes we're like, oh, let me wipe my tears so I can move on. But it's like, no, let's feel it. Let's feel it now. So then we can appreciate the joy we're going to feel as soon as we walk out of this space. So I was surprised by the turnout. I was really surprised. I was like, I thought only 6 people was going to sign up for this. And we had a 12-person class. And I believe they all got something out of it.
Yes.
Yes. And I would definitely do it again. It really like touched me. It really healed me to see other people responding well for this activity that I just thought up in my head one day for one of my clients struggling with trauma and grief.
Let me be a testimony to that one. Like, oh my God. Okay. Oh my, I released some things that I didn't even know I was still holding on to. It was like soon as she hit the music, the flow started, you look around the room and everybody was crying and writing. It was just like automatic, and we all got to support each other without saying nothing.
Yes.
And we was all there to support each other. Didn't know each other's grief, pain, or nothing. But we was all there to support each other as we wrote it down, rolled it up, and we buried it. Now, we only got a few more minutes left. I do not want anybody to not know where you guys are found. Because I started this telling you she does families. She does individuals. She does couples. They do retreats for all kinds of corporations, organizations, church folks. You know y'all need it. Everybody. Everybody out there, listen. This is what's hitting TV. You know Sneaky Blaze is real. Let's be real. Okay, so I want everybody to know where they can find you, where they can locate you. I got paperwork. Of course, it's going to be all at the bottom and at the end. You're going to see all the different people that we got. Miss Zora, we had the re-massage with our people and re-massage. We got some cocoa butter from QT and some scrub. Oh my God, my rosemary.
Isn't it good?
You see these cheese?
Our stuff is good.
What? Oh my God. Anyway, so you will see that. Now, tell them where they can find you.
We are now, you can email us if you are a group leader and you would like us to do a private retreat for you. We do private workshops, like standalone workshops, any one of them, or the whole full day. You can find us by going on our Instagram, One Trip Over the Moon, Facebook, One Trip Over the Moon. We are actually on Twitter, even though we still trying to figure out how to be on Twitter. Yes, we need help with that. YouTube, we have some videos up already, and we will have the trailer and the snippet video of the retreat day online, I think by tomorrow, on our YouTube page, which is One Trip Over the Moon.
We'll be able to put that on our Instagram too, right?
The shorter one. I think we should be able to put the shorter one on our Instagram.
Right.
And then you can email us. We are approachable. It's One Trip Over the Moon at gmail.com.
Okay.
But then we also have a website, which is just our name, onetripoverthemoon.com. And really it's because we want to be able to cover people at all phases of life. This is mostly for adults, but I think we will incorporate families as we get the adult retreats done. We're thinking about doing some family healing retreats as well. And then we'll have like special needs things. We have some virtual retreats coming up if people want to connect with us on Eventbrite. January 20th will be for other therapists and social workers. It's called Health is Wealth Retreat, Part 1 and 2. First one is for healthcare providers.
And we'll have CEUs.
Yep, CEUs will be attached to that for people who need them.
For
and
all
then
you
on
nurses that need to reissue their license, and they're offering CE hours for you guys for that.
It will be on specifically that one. It will be go towards what were the CEs that we were going to do?
Oh, I think it's ethics.
Ethics for your continuing education. You know y'all need that so y'all can get your license renewed. So
yes. Everybody, licensures are coming up in Pennsylvania.
Yes, they got that link. Let me tell you, I know about that. All right now. Yes. So everything is on One Trip Over the Moon. They made it real simple. Yes. So anywhere you want to find them is One Trip Over the Moon. I have to thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you
for being a part of my journey. The What's Hitting TV family. And honey, let me tell you, we will be calling you when we come across some people. They might need you, right?
Yeah.
So we definitely will be dropping your card all over the place. Because we all need some healing. We all are mentally crazy. I don't know who cannot be after being in COVID for the past 2 years. If you did not know about yourself, when COVID hit, you learned about yourself. Okay? So you got to sit with yourself. So make sure you reach out to these people because they're there to help you. This was What's Hitting TV. I'm your host, Nikki Blaze. You know where to find all our radio shows, radioactive-radio.com at 9 p.m. on Mondays. We got What's Hitting Radio, that's on 106.5 FM in Philly, but streams on tunein.com and phillycam.org/listen. Our television show, What's Hitting TV, is in Philadelphia, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Manhattan on Comcast and Verizon stations. We are also on allmediatv.com. Be safe, y'all. See you next time.